Hi everyone and welcome to Grimes Time. I'm your host Joe Grimes, and with me as always Evan Mulgrave. This week we're doing a movie time because of how much I liked this next film. This week we reviewed Blade Runner 2049, the sequel to the classic 1982 sci-fi film starring Harrison Ford. I loved this movie. I thought it was immediately up there with the great sci-fi classics of all time, like 201: A Space Odyssey, Battlefield Earth, so on and so on. Ryan Gosling is in this picture, and I love him. Yeah, he's a hunk, but he's not like all the other hunks. He is a thinking man's hunk. Harrison Ford's in this too, and do the math, Harrison Ford's never been in a bad picture, so...
He's been in tons of trash. Return of the Jedi sucks. I mean, they kill Rebo off in that one. What was the last Whip Man movie he was in with LaBeef? What was that movie called?
Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is great.
Yeah, well, the last one was shit. And this movie's shit. It was boring. I fell asleep during a large portion of it, and no one around me would let me know what I missed, so I really didn't have any idea what was going on in this movie.
How could you sleep during this film? It was amazing.
It was boring. It was slow. One note. And their version of the future is hellish. Somehow more hellish than my current present, which in some ways is impressive. But I just didn't think it had any energy. No fun, you know? This movie needed some more fun. Maybe a dash of TNA. That's what this
See,
movie
a great picture like this does not need that tastelessness. It does not need senseless nudity.
Nudity? Wow. I don't think you could get the Toll Man to go full frontal. I mean, you might see his ass.
What are you talking about? What is TNA?
Tim Allen. TNA. I mean, that's what this movie's missing. A guy like that. He's got that old school cool to him. Kind of like a Joe Camel kind of cool. And I'm not talking like Home Improvement Tim Allen. I'm talking more like Old Hogs Tim Allen with the leather jacket, you know, and maybe some nods to Home Improvement. Maybe throw a Borland cameo in there.
I couldn't agree with you less.
You don't think this movie would be better with Tim Allen in it?
It doesn't need Tim Allen. It's got Ryan Gosling.
It's not what I asked you. Would this movie be better with
I mean,
Tim Allen?
probably, but that's not the point.
That's
You can't, you know, hindsight's 20/20. I'm going to give this film a solid A. That's my ranking for it.
You know, my rating on this movie really depends on what happened in that 45-minute chunk I was out. I mean, if that was like a laser battle or some sort of robot fight, I might give this movie a G. But as is, if it was more of the same, I'm going to give this movie a U. U for get Tim Allen next time.
What do you mean you can get Tim Allen?
Bullshit, you can get Tim Allen. You can get Tim Allen on this show. I'll eat every ghost pepper in my garden if you get Tim Allen on this show. That's 32. I make a batch every year to make my own pepper spray because I'm not allowed to buy a firearm in Pennsylvania.
Get him on the show.
But
get him on the show.
It's coming soon. Tim Allen, not. So as many of you know, I am mired in financial hell at the moment. You know, lost both of my jobs. We have a few pending lawsuits, and my last business venture was, you know, so I've been thinking of other ways to make money, and one of the ways I was thinking is, you know, I could liquidate some of my assets. You know, I'm a huge music fan. I'm a struggling musician myself, so I've amassed a pretty extensive vinyl collection. So over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be on eBay auctioning off some of my choice pieces. So if you look up my username, HotBlinkKid87, I'll show you guys some of my choice pieces now. This is one of my favorite records. This is Yes, Going for the One. Can't tell you the amount of lonely nights I spent staring at that fine woman right there.
That is a man.
Are you out of your mind? That's a woman. Look at that feminine Jerry curl there. That's definitely...
That is definitely a man. That is a man.
Where's the hair on his ass?
That is a man.
That's a hairless ass. That's...
There you go, folks. A lot of lonely nights.
Put that down. Okay, you know, we have other great albums. You want to talk about, you know, in the 80s, who was the boss? Tony Danza? How about Boz Scaggs? That's who the boss was. Great album. If you're into light jazz, I mean, you can't really get any better than Boz. I'm probably looking for about $350 for this.
I'm pretty sure that the bottom fell out of albums, and that they pretty much all of them, except for the really rare ones, go for about 25 cents.
No. If somebody comes to me and says they want 25 cents for this box,
just because it means more than 25 cents to you doesn't mean...
That's exactly what it means, because I know quality. I know value. Like, look at this Rod Stewart record. I didn't just pick up any Rod Stewart record. I picked up the one shaped like a whiskey glass because I was like, that's interesting. That's cool. I could see this going for $700-800. So, people love Rod, especially like middle-aged women seem to really love Rod Stewart.
But these are all in like real bad, trashy condition. Coffee stains, wear and tear. Look at this. Look at this Lady Gaga album. It's like all torn up at the bottom and it's got stain. Look, she's not even wearing a shirt. That's fucking freaky.
That's Edgar Winter. What are you talking about?
You can tell that this one's a man, but you can't tell. Yeah,
that's
right,
a woman.
Right,
I stand by that. That's a hairless ass.
Yeah, these are both women.
I mean, we do have Frampton Comes Alive, which I don't know if you know, this is a pretty rare record. He had this thing that was called a talk box, so he would play solos with his vocal cords. He wouldn't even play the guitar. They would attach into his trachea. And remember, do you feel like I do? I'm not doing it justice because I don't have that machine, but if you look really closely, you can see the incision that they made in Peter Frampton's trachea.